Hello, my name is Karen Randall, and I am a transition coach. And I'd like to welcome you to this slideshow where I talk about how I view the process of transition as an invitation, an opportunity for you to create a life that is filled with purpose and meaning and value. I look at transition through the lens of stages that are identified by colors and this spiral that I have created that tells the story of a transition journey. I see significant life events as being very powerful as they invite us into change and transition. So change and transition are actually two different things. The change is that life event, that significant life event. It's exterior to you. But our response to it, the inner response that we go through, is our transition. It's how we allow these significant life events to change us and to help us to grow. Here's some of the ways that you can know if you have been invited into transition. Maybe you have recently experienced one of these significant life events. Job and career change, retirement, there's a long list of them right here, and there's many more. And maybe you have experienced one of those and you find that you are now super busy taking care of so many details that were brought on by this change. And do you notice that when people ask you, how are you handling everything? And your answer is, oh, I'm doing fine. I'm doing good. I'm really doing fine. And inside you know that you're not because you feel really disoriented and confused and you don't even know who you are anymore. You've started the process of transition, which in this spiral is signified by the red leaves at the center of the spiral. This is the red zone. When you're in the red zone, you are so busy trying to take care of everything that you don't have time to think or feel. So the best thing you can do for yourself is to just stop for a moment and take a deep breath and then take a few more. Allow yourself to just feel what's really going on. One of the things that we really stop doing is asking for help from friends and family, and even from professionals. Asking people to do things for you so you take some of that burden off and you don't have to stay so busy is a really great way of slowing down. And that's what you really need here is to slow way down. And one day, all of those details, they come to an end. You wake up in the morning and you think of, what do I have to do today? And all of those details about this big significant change have come to an end. And you realize you are tired, more than tired, you are exhausted. And you have made the movement from the red zone into the blue zone. You know that you've entered the blue zone if you know that you're really tired, but you don't feel comfortable in your own skin. And you keep trying to stay busy because that allows you to avoid thinking about how different your life is and what it's going to be like. You don't want to think about that because that's kind of hard. And you don't feel like talking to anyone because you don't know what to say to them when they say, what's next? You don't know. You don't feel like talking to anyone and you don't feel like doing anything because you don't know what to do next. Sometimes that not knowing is so hard. So we try to avoid it. And that means that we're making a little detour up into the yellow zone, that little offshoot from the blue leaves. In the yellow zone, you try to stay super busy so you can avoid thinking and feeling about what's happened. You try new things, you make one change after another after another. A lot of times people think, I am going to get myself in shape, I'm going to eat better, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to try yoga, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that, because you have to stay busy at all costs so that you can avoid feeling those hard feelings. And you don't want to be alone, because that also gives you time to think about how unsure you are about the future. You want to be happy all the time. And when people ask you how you're doing, you say, I'm really good. Some people stay in the yellow zone because that is the more comfortable way for them to work with this invitation to transition, and they don't want to move into another way. But for some people, it just gets to be too much to keep up all that busyness and change and trying new things and staying with people. It's too much. And so they give themselves just a little bit of permission to slow down. And that is such a deep sigh of relief as they let go of the busyness and the go, 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 because finally they're ready for the blue zone. When you're back in the blue zone, you're ready to feel the loss and the grief and the sadness about what you need to say goodbye to. A part of your life is gone. So this is a time to be quiet, to find silence, to rest and to recover, and to work with that idea of not knowing what is next and allowing that. This is a time to be alone and to listen for messages from your heart and from the divine in whatever way you know those messages to come. There's grieving and resting and listening, reflecting, letting go, and ultimately rejuvenating. And this brings energy. And the exciting thing is that with that energy, since you have grieved and you have let go, you've created space. And there's ideas for how you can fill that space. You've entered into the pink zone. In the pink zone, as I said, you have energy because you took the time to really rest and recover and let go. And you also, with that energy, have creativity, and that's where those ideas start to spark. The reality is that you are feeling all of it. You are still feeling sadness. It doesn't just go away one day. It still comes at different times, but you also have the feelings of excitement because you have allowed yourself to feel some of the harder emotions. You also have the better emotions, and you have lots of ideas from the creativity, and you are both excited because of those ideas. But there's also some fear because this is new, this is different, this is change. So what can you do? What's going to support you? You can explore, you can try new things, and you can feel into all of it. Some of the new things are going to fit, some of them aren't going to fit. That's okay. A really great support is to continue those things that supported you in the blue zone. Meditation and prayer, journaling, spending time by yourself in nature, being with close friends and family who can allow you to process this experience in your unique way. And especially professionals who understand that this is a process, and they can help you listen to the emerging call of your heart. Something inside is percolating, and this is a time for deep listening, listening for the call of your heart that tells you you have a purpose and you have an ability to serve and support and bring greater good to all. What has meaning for you? What gives you joy and energy? What makes you happy? What makes you sing? And through that, what allows you to just radiate your light and invite that same thing from others? with all of this creative energy and flow and ideas and experimentation, your purpose becomes clearer. Maybe one day it's a little more clear. Maybe it comes ultimately very clear for this stage in your life, and you start to develop a really beautiful, stunning vision of what your life could look like if you filled it with the things that have passion for you and give your life meaning and which you value and allow you to serve others and to bring greater good into the world. And that vision, as it develops, brings you into the green zone. In the green zone, it's a time of growing and nurturing your vision. It's time to develop a plan for how you're going to move from where you are in your life to where this vision is. How do you make that real? How do you answer those questions of who and what and when and where and why and how? It's a process. It continues as we realize where we are and where we want to be, and we identify the steps that we need to take to move there. It's a time of manifesting your dream. And as you go through that spiral, through all of those different stages, all those different colors, you realize that you've actually developed a colorful spiral of your own. Now, there's different ways to go through transition. Going through it on your own can be really frustrating and messy, and it doesn't seem to be making any progress. Grief is hard, and it doesn't just go away. And you move forward and back and forward and back. And while transition is never just this straight spiral that I've described, it's always forward and back and forward and back. When you work with me, we make progress along the spiral, and you feel the movement happening just a little more concretely and maybe with a little bit more clarity of moving through this process and gaining a clear vision of where you want to go. So if this is you and if this seems like, yeah, I need this and it would be really supportive to work with somebody to help me see what's happening in transition, I would love to connect with you. And I'm offering you today a special 1 hour session so we can see what stage you're in, what are some things that would help you, and what's going to come next. And normally that's $100 for one of my 1 hour sessions, but today it's $55. So here's the ways to contact me, and you can always just contact me through my website also.